Hi all, and welcome to another video from Ms. Robbie's classroom. I'm your teacher advisor, Ms. Robbie, and today we will have another video on our series of the self-learning modules for English 7. For this clip, you will need the English 7 Modules 4 Lesson 1, your activity notebook, and pen. Pay attention when you hear the bell sound. That means you may need to pause the video in order to do the task given. Then resume the video once you're done. And don't forget to practice honor and honesty in answering your modules. Using separate modules, this competency is divided into 2 lessons. Lesson 1, using simple past tense correctly in varied context, and Lesson 2, using the past perfect tense. So our goals at the end of this clip is that you will be able to identify simple past tense of verbs, use simple past tense of verbs in sentences, and show self-reliance when working independently. And so with that, let's talk about Module 4, Lesson 1, using simple past tense correctly in varied contexts. Before we go on, let's see what you know about the topic. Read the following sentences taken from an Igorot myth, The Story of Creation. List down the simple past tense verbs in each sentence and categorize them as regular or irregular. The first one is done for you. So in number 1, in the beginning, there were no people on earth. The verb in the sentence is were, and it is irregular. So put a check. Are you ready to answer? Let's go! Welcome back everyone. Were you able to answer all items in test 1? Perfect! Now let's see how you did. Go to page 11 of your module. Pause this video while you check your work. How did you do? You got a perfect score? Awesome! Almost perfect? That's alright. Let's do better next time. Let's have more activities that has something to do with our lesson today. This time, let's answer together what's in page 3. Read the passage below and complete the sentences by giving the correct simple past tense form of the given verbs. For number 1, once upon a time in the Philippines, there blank an old woman with strange magical qualities. Since the verb is, then the past form is was. Are you ready to answer the rest? Let's go! Welcome back everyone. Were you able to answer all the items in what's in? Good job! Now let's see how you did. Go to page 11 of your module, pause this video while you check your work. How did you do? You got a perfect score? Awesome! Almost perfect? That's alright. Let's do better next time. Are you ready for a challenge? Go to page 4, What's New? Read carefully the following passage. Complete the sentences by writing the correct simple past tense form of the given verbs. In the first sentence, in a small barangay of Cebu, there blank Jose and his younger sister Pilar with their family. The best verb for this sentence is live. Writing the past tense of live is lived. Are you ready to answer the rest? Let's go! Welcome back everyone. Were you able to answer all items in what's new? Good job! Now let's see how you did. Go to page 11 of your module. Pause this video while you check your work. How did you do? You got a perfect score? Awesome! Almost perfect? That's alright. Let's do better next time. So do you have an idea what we will be talking about today? That's right, we'll be talking about the simple past tense. Verbs have different forms called tenses. The tense of a verb tells us when the action happens. So a simple past tense is used to talk about things that happened or existed before now. It is often used with past time references like yesterday, 2 years ago, and the like. How do you form the simple past tense? For most verbs, the simple past tense is created by adding d, ed, or ied at the end of the base form of the verb. These kinds of verbs are called regular verbs. For example, start, started, kill, killed, jump, jumped. If a verb ends in e, you add d, like agree, agreed, like, liked, escape, escaped. If a verb ends in a vowel and a consonant, the consonant is usually doubled before ed. Example, stop, stopped. Plan, planned. If a verb ends in consonant and y, you take off the y and add ied. Like when you say try, tried, carry, carried. And if the word ends in a vowel and y, you add ed. Like play, played, enjoy, enjoyed. There are three kinds of pronunciation: d, t, and id. Look at the table below. Let's read it together. Arrived, asked, wanted, failed, crossed, decided, agreed, stopped, started. Here are more examples of regular verbs. Repeat after me. The variety and abundance of Philippine literature evolved even before the colonial periods. Folk tales, epics, poems, and marathon chants existed in most ethno-linguistic groups that were passed on from generation to generation through word of mouth. Some of these pre-colonial literary pieces showcased traditional narratives, speeches, and songs, artigmo in Cebuano, bugtong in Tagalog, patutudon in Bicol, and paktakon in Ilonggo. The to-be verbs such as is and am are all irregular verbs. In fact, to-be verbs are the only verbs in English that change form in every tense. Fortunately, the past simple form of to-be verbs is fairly easy. Look at how the verb to be changes from present tense to past tense. Am, was, is, was, are, were. Here are some examples of using the to-be verbs. Repeat after me. There was expansion of indigenous educational systems and writing systems through focusing on belief systems, epics, and other mediums that exhibit good values of an egalitarian society. Indigenous people of the Philippines were descendants of the Malangay-born Austronesian migrants from maritime Southeast Asia. Now, irregular verbs is one that does not take the ed ending for the simple past and past participle forms. Some irregular verbs do not change, while others change completely. Here are some examples. Repeat after me. Tales associated with the Spanish conquest also took part in the country's rich cultural heritage. Filipinos often lose sight of the fact that the first period of the Philippine literary history is the longest. The oral literature of the pre-colonial Filipinos bore the marks of the community. Here are some examples of verbs having the irregular form in the simple past tense. Can you read them together? Buy, bought. Come, came. Do, did. Fly, flew. Get, got. Go, went. Have, had. Keep, kept. Pay, paid. Run, ran. See, saw. Sleep, slept. Take, took. Tell, told. Think, thought. Good job! If you'd like to know more of the regular verbs and their simple past and past participle form, just type in this link for a list of common verbs and their past forms. Now let's apply what you just learned about the past tense of the verb. Let's go to page 8 of What's More. Complete the sentences in the story below by choosing the most appropriate verb in the simple past tense. You will have to read and analyze the sentences to be able to use the correct verb. Let's take the first sentence. How the moon and the stars came to be. One day, in the times when the sky blank close to the ground, in this case, I will use was. One day, and the times when the sky was close to the ground. Are you ready to answer the rest? Let's go! It's reflection time. What have you learned? Supply the information asked using the template below. Write your answers in your activity notebook. Home education learning for the day. What have you learned today? And what have you found challenging or difficult? It's assessment time. Go to page 9 of your modules and write your answers in your activity notebook. Write a 5-sentence paragraph about last March 2020 enhanced community quarantine experience. Underline at least 5 verbs in the simple past tense. Use the rubrics below to guide you in your sentences. Here are the following indicators. There should be at least 5 sentences. The paragraph should be relevant to the topic. The sentences should be coherent. At least 5 verbs in the past tense are correctly used. There is no error in grammar, spelling, capitalization, and punctuation. If all indicators are met, you will get 20 points. If 4 indicators are met, you get 18 points. 3 indicators means 16 points, and only 2 indicators are met, you get 15 points. Here's a sample paragraph of what your assessment would look like. Good luck! Good job, everyone! Now you know how to use the past tense of the verb. To make sure that you apply the lessons you just learned, I want you to do the remaining activities on this module. Go to page 9 of your module. Write this in a long bond paper for your output number 6. Write at least 5 sentences with simple past tense of verb on what COVID-19 patients did to survive the pandemic. Make sure that sources of information are reliable. This is what your written output would look like. It may be handwritten or printed with colorful designs. Put this in your portfolio and submit it to your teacher. What's a portfolio, you ask? It's a long folder where you will keep your outputs, like this. If you have already submitted a folder, on the last retrieval, no need to buy another one. Submit your outputs to your teacher, who will check and keep them in your folders. Now you're set for Module 4, Lesson 2. Until next time, this is your teacher advisor, Ms. Robbie. Happy studying, guys!